So I just finished seeing Uproar. Now I'm not 100% certain if it's based off a true story or if it's a work of fiction. It didn't specify in the film. It probably did in the trailers, but again, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to describe it as a carefully choreographed movie. Now let me be perfectly honest, Uproar is not a musical, nor is it a dance movie, but is carefully choreographed with the way that it does its storytelling. And by that I mean it filters its way through racism, specifically racism in New Zealand, set in 1984, so bounces between 81 and 84. And it's a very interesting story of how a young Maori kid is raised by a white woman, predominantly lives in a white community, goes to school in a predominantly white school, and has to deal with trying to figure out his own identity while trying to fit into the rules of this white world. It's a very interesting story, purely because I say that because the way that they do their racism storylines, it hits you straight away. It's no sugarcoating it. It's, stating that in 1981 there was South Africa, legalizes racism. And then it just goes from there. But the way that it plays with racism is that it sugarcoats it for the first half of the storyline, and then in the last half of the storyline it gets really serious while trying to keep its playful tones. But I think it's a very clever way that they've masked it with the way that the lead character wants to become an actor or is forced to play football, rugby. So it's a very carefully balanced choreograph between sports and drama and everything else in between. So I think it's a very interesting movie. Now look, it's not a movie for everybody. I will be perfectly honest, because the first half is quite slow and it's quite restless. But once you get into the second half, it has its moments to pull you in, but again, it's a bit slow. It is a powerful storyline, and this is why I like New Zealand films. I swear to God, I should start recommending some good ones, because the way that they do their movies is quite poetic and carefully choreographed, and they do their storytelling in such a beautiful design that you kind of have to take a second to appreciate their way of storytelling, the stories that they pass from generation to generation, the way that they, use their landscape to tell a bigger picture. It's quite astounding, especially with the key cultures being, pushed to the front of the line rather than just someone else saying it. But like I said, it's not an everybody movie. I'm not 100% sure if it's based just off truth, but Rhys Darby definitely steals the show. Julian Dennison, who we know from Deadpool, is the lead actor. But it's actually not too bad of a movie. Just pay attention. And I think the greatest thing about Uproar being released now is that it still fits our current political climate. Like I said, it deals with racism. It's a white versus black, it's an us versus them, it's a cultural identity clash. It's set in the 80s. It's about police brutality. It's about how they don't give a damn if you're old or young, they're still gonna knock you down. It's about legalizing and illegalizing racism. It's a very powerful story, but it's a very cleverly choreographed storyline.